What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is Orioles Today, and as always, I am Sean Ferguson. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this latest episode and spending your Sunday, or a little bit of your Sunday, here with me on the channel. If you're a fan of this episode, please throw some Christmas lights at the like button. And if you're a fan of this content, please subscribe. Get yourself daily notifications for all of these daily video drops covering all things the Baltimore Orioles. We're going to get right into it as the Orioles have made themselves a trade. And it is so funny, as just one episode ago I was talking about the comments that Mike Elias made about needing to go out and get a guy who can come in the ninth inning and shut it down. Meaning we need a closing pitcher for 2026 because Felix Bautista is not going to be that guy next year because of injuries. And will he ever get back to where he once was? Only time will tell, but it's not looking like 2026 is going to be that year where we're going to figure out if that's going to happen. So the Orioles need a closing pitcher. And of course, I threw a couple names out there of guys that the Orioles could potentially go after. Ryan Helsley was not one of those names, of course. But that is who the Orioles have signed. The Baltimore Orioles have signed closing pitcher Ryan Helsley to a 2-year deal. It is worth $28 million. And there is an opt-out option after year number 1, so after the 2026 season. And this is a guy who is very comfortable being a closing pitcher. He has a career ERA of 2.96 with 377 strikeouts and 105 career saves, and that's in 297 appearances. And he's a guy who also has a fastball that has reached 103 and has a nasty slider as well. And he's coming off a fantastic 2024, and that is where he won the Trevor Hoffman Award for the best reliever in the National League. And he was also named to the first team All-MLB honors, which is fantastic. I mean, just a lockdown year. And then 2025 came, and he was having a pretty good year with St. Louis as he started the year with the Cardinals. And he actually had a 3 ERA and 21 saves and 36 appearances when he was with St. Louis, but then was traded from the Cardinals over to the New York Mets at the very end of July, and he was not good even a little bit there. In 20 innings, he had a 7.20 ERA and was just not good at all. Coming off 2024 where he had 49 saves, I mean, amazing. And the way that he got started off last year with the Cardinals was awesome as well. Now, certain things did play into why he was not pitching that great with the New York Mets, as reports came out that he was tipping pitches, which led to his demise in a sense of why he just did not pitch well at all, and it made the Mets trade for him not look great. But this guy, in his career, he's been in the big league, I believe now for 7 years. He is only 31 years old, and he has put up way more positive signs of being a great closer in this league than he has negative. Of course, ending last season the way he did is not great. But even with that being said, I believe the Orioles, it's tough for me saying that the Orioles got a steal here, but I think this is a really, really good signing. Again, he is not the top reliever that was out there or being named, but I think he was one of the better ones, and I'm pretty stoked that the Orioles actually went ahead and got a guy that is serviceable and has done some really good things lately. Again, didn't end the season terrific last year by any means, but leading up to that part of the season and what he did the year before and what he's done in his career, I'm willing to put how 2024 ended to get him in to Baltimore and hopefully be that guy that we need to have that bounce back year that we need to have here in 2026. And the $28 million that they're giving him, again, they are able to opt out after year 1. So we'll see when the numbers come out here for the next day, most likely, if that's a team or player option after year 1 and how much money he's looking at for 2026 as well. But for what they are going to be paying him, I think this is a fantastic signing by Baltimore, and I'm pretty stoked about it. And it's just, like I said, it's just really funny that they went ahead and signed him just an episode after I was talking about, well, these are the comments that Elias made. This is what they need to go get. So Let me know how you guys feel about this signing from who it is. And just because Elias is going after needs right now, we needed a power bat in the outfield. He gets Taylor Ward. We needed a closing pitcher. He gets Ryan Helsley. So, yes, he could have went out and got other guys, but he got a pretty good one, and he didn't have to spend a ton of money to get him. And, hey, let's celebrate. This is the second ever free agent that Mike Elias, in his reign, has signed to a multi-year deal as a free agent, with Tyler O'Neill last year being the very first one. Ryan Helsley is now the second, even though there is opt-out after year one. There was the same thing for O'Neill, so it still counts. So Orioles get their closing pitcher in Ryan Helsley, and where do they turn to now for starting pitching? As rumors and reports, they're everywhere. It's MLB offseason. There are so many teams looking for so many different players. The Orioles are included, as I talk to you guys about reports all the time. We're going to talk about that a little bit more here in this episode as well. And even if you look at Ryan Helsley, the Chicago Cubs were reportedly right on the brink of signing him, and that didn't happen. So, as he came to Baltimore. So, there's a little more talk, too, about where the Orioles could turn to when it comes to starting pitching, with Dylan Cease off the board now in Toronto. Reports Framber Valdez has a really good opportunity with landing with the Mets. Now, what does that say for the Orioles possibly landing a guy like a Zach Gallen? Zach Gallen, we talked about him on this channel before. I talked about him a little bit on an episode about the Orioles should be looking at him. This is even after the qualifying offer that he was given and ultimately declined. The issue with if you go out and get Gallen, Zach Gallen is a guy, he's only 30 years old. Last year wasn't the greatest, but he had a pretty good finish to it. 13 and 15 overall, finished with a 4.83 ERA, but again, not a great start whatsoever, but Gallen did finish the year well, which still makes a lot of teams, including the Orioles out there, wanting to sign him to bring them in, because he is still a guy that could bolster your rotation for sure. So the Orioles would have to part ways with some serious cash to get him, but they would also have to give up their third highest draft pick to get him. And I know a lot of you can say, who cares? Well, with the way that the Orioles have really built themselves in Mike Elias's reign, now in his 7 years there, was a GM and now is the president of baseball operations, he's done a pretty good job of getting good talent through the draft. So giving up the third highest draft pick to get him, it'd be tough since, again, Gallen was offered a qualifying offer and he declined it. So, and then if you look at numbers right now, when it comes to projected contracts for Gallen, he's in a range, I've seen anywhere from a 4-year contract for about $75 million. That could be somewhere between around the $18 to $19 million a year mark. I've even seen it at 5 years, up to $135 million. Again, teams out there like the Yankees or the Dodgers are really, truly interested. Throw the Red Sox in that mix as well. They would be willing to throw any amount of money, as they have just, it feels like, an unlimited source of cash. Are the Orioles going to be able to keep up? And I think they could, but will they? And what we've seen in the past, they most likely won't. But if they do, again, the third highest draft pick, and it's not going to be a 2-year, $28 million deal. You're talking some serious cash for Gallen, as he's not going to be a guy that's going to sign to a 1 to 2 year deal. Again, like I said, he's looking around the 4 to 5 year range. So the O's would have to give up quite a bit to get him, but I am sure, as, again, reports and rumors are around, that Gallen is one of the guys that the Orioles have definitely been interested in. They were interested in Dylan Cease, but he went to Toronto. They are currently interested in Framber Valdez from everything I have seen as well. So we'll see how aggressive the Orioles continue to be. I know I'm biased because I am a diehard O's fan. I love this team, but they have been one of the, if not the most aggressive team this offseason so far. They got started right away. They've made 3 trades so far. They've been very active on the waiver wire, and they're starting to sign some free agents and address some needs, because 12 games below 500 last year was not where this team should have been. Injuries played a big part in it, but they are starting to address needs that I am okay with who they're bringing in. I really do like this Ryan Helsley signing, and we'll see who they go after when it comes to starting pitching, because Elias said that's also another need that the Orioles really need to focus on this offseason. 1 to 2 more starting pitchers to go alongside of Trevor Rogers and Kyle Bradish. So we will see what happens there. And more reports and rumors. Again, the Orioles couldn't hurt to add another first base / DH bat, and a power bat at that. And another name that the Orioles were rumored to be interested in is a Kyle Schwarber. We also talked about him on the last episode as well. But now there's more reports coming out that the Philadelphia Phillies are trying to make him a top priority of re-signing him this offseason, as they really want him back. They're also trying to re-sign catcher JT Realmuto. They're making those two guys part of their top priorities to bring back to Philadelphia next season. So if that is the case, where do the Orioles turn? Because also there's more reports coming out that Schwarber's not even close to a deal. So yes, the Phillies could be aggressively going after him, but there's also reports coming out that he's not even close. So if you look at a couple options here, and I've talked about this guy as well, the possibility of reuniting with Ryan O'Hearn. Ryan O'Hearn would be a guy that if you bring him back, because you traded him away last year, if you bring him back, he's still only 32 years old. And if you look at money, with the three guys I'm talking about, he makes the most sense. He's the most familiar with the team, and he's right around the same age bracket as these other guys as well, and he is going to be way cheaper, as he's probably going to sign around a 2-year deal between $24 to $28 million, and that is something the Orioles will definitely be okay with, especially if they do send Ryan Mountcastle packing via trade for maybe another starting pitcher. A few names that we've already talked about, maybe like a Joe Ryan or a Freddie Peralta. And then you can open the door to bring in a guy like O'Hearn. But if you still go after a guy like Kyle Schwarber, he is also 32 years old. But the money he is going to get is going to be way more. Could even be $100 million more than what you could give Ryan O'Hearn. There's projections right now, Schwarber anywhere floating around the 4-year mark between $125 to $135 million. And you know teams will be out there willing to pay that can pay that for the type of power that he will bring in and the amount of home runs he's going to hit this year. And the Orioles are desperate to get a home run hitting bat this year. And Pete Alonso's another guy. He's only 30, but he's projected to make more than both of those guys. They're saying anywhere from 180 to 210 for him. So there's 3 options right there. Schwarber says he's going to go back to Philadelphia. You can look at the other 2. And I could definitely see the Orioles reuniting with O'Hearn because of how familiar they are with him and what he has done in the past for the Orioles, how well liked he is, and how much less they're going to have to pay him than the others. And yes, I would like other bats that, again, would be more productive. But I really do like Ryan O'Hearn when he was with us. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him back. And I'm just being real. What I've seen from Mike Elias in his time, he wouldn't mind going. I've seen him go the option way more of saving money and preserving money also when it comes to just not being able to outbid the other guys as well. So we will see what happens there and what the Orioles continue to do. More reports and stories that I've seen as well as the Orioles really being interested in a possibility of a trade with the Washington Nationals for Mackenzie Gore. I just don't see the Orioles and Nationals making a trade with each other. And I know I've talked about this a little bit on this channel, not too much. I know I brought up a possibility of Mackenzie Gore, but the more you look into it and the more you read into it, the amount of talent that the Orioles would have to part with in order to land Gore would be astronomical, and I just don't see Elias doing that, nor do I mean, I want to say nor should he, but to get a talent like Mackenzie Gore, if you can get him, but at the same time is how much are you going to hurt your future by getting a guy like Gore? Like, of course, there's potentials of injuries and things like that, but how much would you have to give up for Gore? And I think it would be a whole heck of a lot. And some of the reports I've seen is throwing Adley Rutschman in there, and I've said this before, Adley Rutschman is not going anywhere. And if Mike Elias is true to his word, he's also said that Adley Rutschman is not going anywhere. So I don't see them parting ways with him, but I definitely see him as a massive sweetener to be thrown in there just to be able to acquire Mackenzie Gore via trade. But again, I don't see that happening. I don't see the Orioles landing a Mackenzie Gore. They will be way more likely to land a Freddie Peralta via trade. That would not include an Adley Rutschman. So I still do believe that the Orioles are going to make a trade for a starting pitcher or two. More realistically, they're most likely going to trade for one and then sign one in free agency. But I don't believe that one for the trade is going to be Mackenzie Gore. It's most likely going to be Ryan or Peralta. That would be ideal. And I do believe they wouldn't have to give up as much if they went after Gore. So we'll see, guys. A lot is happening right now. The Orioles continue to be active in the offseason and address needs, and I am for it. Please let me know down in the comments what you think about the Helsley signing and the potential of Zach Gallen coming to Baltimore. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching this latest episode. It truly does mean a lot. And if you are a fan of this episode, please throw some Christmas decorations at the like button. And if you're a fan of this content, please subscribe. Get yourself daily notifications for all of these daily video drops covering all things the Baltimore Orioles. And again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Orioles Today. I am Sean Ferguson, and let's go O's.